Hey guys, I'd like to make a few comments about basic income. Well, in Ontario here, they're going to implement basic income for people. The current argument is, it's cheaper than welfare than the current system we do have, and it's like more efficient. There's less bureaucracy. There's less people you need to hire to, search people to make sure that they do need the funds. And I can see their thinking in this, how it could be better and it could save money, which it could. But another thing you need to consider is that let's just say the basic income is equivalent to $15 an hour, something along those lines, or 12 or 13. There are a lot of people working at that wage, like in Canada, lots and lots of them. So if you're making $13 an hour working at McDonald's or like a really shitty job, are you going to keep working that job when you could just go on basic income that pays you the exact same amount to do nothing? Because a lot of people, are comfortable with the amount of money they get, right? Not everybody wants tons and tons of money or cares about it. So when they get just enough to survive and go by, they're gonna use it. They're not gonna try to get more, like, right? Or they're not gonna try to work for more because, well, why do it? They got enough to buy their smokes, their booze, and whatever, and survive, and skim through to the next pay period. And this is how a lot of people live. And if you don't think that, you're just not living. You must live in a bubble, right? You don't live among common the common people, the regular people, or you're blind, one of the two. But another thing that uh, was really curious to me is how they're saying that we need to implement this because in the future a lot of our jobs are going to be taken through automation. Now, if this is true, why does Trudeau want to increase the Canadian population to 100 million by 2100, right? We're only about 30, a little bit more than 30 million right now, so that's triple our population in a fairly short amount of time. The only way you can achieve this is through immigration. Now, if you're if you concede that a lot of jobs are going to be taken through automation, is it really intelligent in the long term to bring hundreds of thousands, millions of people over who will eventually be unemployed as well, right? You can't just depend. It's like these people, the way they're looking at things is like all in the future, all corporations will own everything and have all the money. So what we're going to do to fix that is tax the fuck out of them and then redistribute the wealth. But, that generally doesn't work out the way people think. Like, what happens when you tax rich people too much? Are they just going to stay? They're gonna put a lot of their money overseas, or they're gonna move to countries with a lower tax rate. Like these, if other countries are supplying you, say, hey, we're not gonna tax you as much, we're not gonna do this. It's just like a business. They're gonna move over there and they're gonna spend their money there. So, you got to be smart about how much you take from other people, and enough with this class division where, saying, oh, these people don't deserve this money. Like a lot of these rich people did work for their money. And a lot of reason people are poor is because they choose to be poor. They spend their money unwisely. They spend it on things they don't need. And they have kids out of wedlock, and these things contribute to poverty. And I've seen a lot of people who are poor and who just don't spend their money correctly, and they could easily lift themselves out of poverty if they just stop spending their money on certain things. And there's a thing that the politicians don't want to tell you because they're going to lose a lot of support that way. They'd rather continue a class division amongst people and say we need to take the bad people's money to give it to you. But what often happens when they take the bad people's money, they pocket a little bit for themselves. This is how it generally goes. And typically, the more government interaction you do have, the more money is going to go to the top. Income inequality has just risen over the years, and there is more regulation, there's more control than there ever has been. So there's a correlation between that. You're thinking giving all your money to a select few people, they're just going to, do the right thing, divvy it out correctly. You're an idiot if you think that. People are not like that. And the people driven to these positions of power who control all of your money are not generally good people who are, you know, vying for these positions. So when you create a system where there's massive power at the top, you're going to, it's like flies to shit. It's a big pile of shit, and they're going to keep coming, and they're going to keep coming. It's not going to stop. So I don't see this whole basic income really working out in the long run. Like, it's not, there's unforeseen effects. People often do the math, and they're like, oh, see, it's going to prevent this and this and that. We're going to save money here and here and here. But they never think about the unforeseen costs. And, I really don't know what's going to happen with this. I don't have high hopes that, I guess my faith in people and is kind of shot. Like, most people work off incentives, and if you incentivize people not to work, they're not going to work. That's just the truth of the matter. And, we'll see what happens in Ontario after this, but with their Liberal government already, they've already fucked up a lot of shit, and they're in a lot of debt. And it's just going to increase this way. And if Ontario continues to vote these people in, like, I don't necessarily feel bad for you anymore. But at the same time, you're connected to Canada. And if you go down, that's going to affect us too, because we're all paying you too. And yes, Ontario does generate a lot of tax dollars, but also it takes a lot of it too. And introducing the whole basic income thing, it's going to take even more. And, I'm just not sure about the whole automation thing. Like, it is being pushed on us a lot. Like, all of our jobs can be taken through automation, but when cars were invented and these types of things, that did destroy a lot of other jobs. And, automatic cars and driverless cars will destroy a lot of jobs. We don't know the jobs that will be created because of it. Like, we can't tell with these new technologies what avenues they will open up for us and what new jobs can be created. Like, think about the workload that can be increased with people working in their cars on their way to work, right? You could, like, more money can be generated in this ways, and, who knows the new types of businesses that could be created with these automatic vehicles. So, there's a lot of things that they're trying to read the future, but they're doing two things that are opposed to each other, mass immigration and basic income, because of loss of automate or the increase of automation. So, we got to kind of like, if you're going to introduce basic income, you should probably try to reduce the amount of immigrants who are coming into your country that are working, part-time jobs or jobs you're making minimum wage, where it's probably more beneficial for them to go off of the job and then use, the assistance. And the natives of the country are going to do this as well. Like the native white people and native Aboriginal people are all going to do this too. And I'm not blaming the immigrants, but, all people work off incentives. And you bring in a bunch of people in, and you give them a lot of free shit, they're going to take it. And you don't think people are going to want to come to Ontario now to exploit this system. You're also not thinking, because there are people like that. But that's pretty much all I had to say about it. If you like my content, subscribe, and have a great day.